Well, hey there, Vineyard. Hey, I'm back here in the sanctuary to finish where we left off on Sunday. If you weren't here on Sunday, our soundboard went out at the very end of the morning. And so we lost sound in the room, and then momentarily we lost it online as well. And so I've had several people reach out to say, hey, can you finish the story that you were telling when that happened? So this video is to do two things. One, I want to finish the story, but more importantly, I want to talk about that moment when the power in our soundboard went out and how the church responded. And I think it was kind of almost a prophetic moment for us. So anyway, first the story. A few weeks ago, I was driving down Chinden coming in to work midweek, coming in for our time of worship and prayer that we have each morning. And traffic was pretty thick coming in, heading east and down Chinden. And there was a delivery van next to me that I could tell wanted into my lane, and she had slowed down and put her signal on. And so my initial response was to slow down and let her in. And when I did that, she didn't take the opportunity to get into my lane. And so I gunned it and went in front of her so she could get in. I was trying to figure out what she was doing. I don't know quite what she was doing, but clearly what I did frustrated her by what I could see happening in my rearview mirror as I watched her merge into my lane and try to communicate to me from a distance. And so anyway, it was one of those miscommunications, and I couldn't explain to her, I'm sorry, I didn't know what you were doing. So I just came into work. But as I entered into our time of worship and prayer, I couldn't quite shake that moment, what had happened, and the fact that she was very, very frustrated, and here I was trying to worship, and I just couldn't quite shake what had happened. And so after wrestling with that for about 20 minutes, I was reminded of a couple things. I was reminded of Jesus talking and saying, if you are offering your gift of worship and you recognize that a brother or sister has an offense with you, go and resolve that. And secondly, I recognized that for me that morning, and I just sensed this kind of nudge from the Holy Spirit, that worship for me that morning wasn't about being in that room with my brothers and sisters, singing songs and praying. It was actually about going and making right this offense. That was my act of worship for the morning. And so big picture, I went down to Starbucks, I bought a $10 gift card and wrote a note in it and said, hey, I'm the guy who was driving the truck today, and sorry about our miscommunication. I didn't mean to frustrate you, and I hope the rest of your day goes better. And I delivered to her work. It was a delivery van, so I knew where she worked, and she wasn't there, but I just said to the owner who was there, I said, I frustrated one of your employees in traffic this morning, and I just wanted to apologize and hope that her day goes better. So the point of the story was that things happen throughout our day. Life brings things to us, and it's an opportunity for us to say, how would Jesus respond? What would Jesus do? What would he say? And those are the moments when not only are we reaching out to other people, but also Christ is forming his character in us. And it's through the obedience of all of those little things that Christ has formed in us. So that's the story. What does it mean? Several people have pointed out just actually the beauty of that moment when the power went out, because the worship team responded. They rolled with it, and they said, hey, we're still going to lead this song, but you're going to have to sing really loud, and we're just going to do it acoustic and just voices. And it was this beautiful gathering of voices to worship Jesus and to offer ourselves to him. And I just love that moment. And I think, culturally in America, there's been a shift. And part of that shift is this move from Christendom to a post-Christian America. And we've lost our power, in a sense, our human power. And it's disorienting and it's kind of jolting. And that was never really the source of our power anyway. Our power is the gospel, and it's the indwelling Holy Spirit. And it's us uniting in one voice as followers of Jesus, saying we want to worship Jesus, to proclaim Jesus, to live our lives like Jesus would if he were us. And so I think that was kind of a parable, if not a prophetic moment, when we responded that way. And I was, I had goosebumps, like Holy Spirit goosebumps, just with that moment. And so anyway, thank you, church. We got a good Sunday planned, and hope you're here in person. And if not in person, hope you can join us online.